Primary elections will move forward in the state of Illinois despite the coronavirus pandemic. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker explained why that state decided not to reschedule their primary.
You know, we've had balloting going on for almost 45 days now. We have early voting. We have mail ballots. In fact, we, as of today, have a record number of mail ballots from the city of Chicago, for example. We've had record early voting in a variety of areas across the state. And we've had longer hours as a result of my request to our county clerks. And the result of that is that we're going to have a very robust turnout. On Tuesday, people don't have to choose to vote on Tuesday. They can pick later today. They're still open tonight. The polls will be open long hours tomorrow. And frankly, we expect that not very many people at any given moment will be at the polling places.
Joining us now to discuss Illinois primaries, Illinois Democratic Party Executive Director Mary Morrissey. Mary, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Absolutely. Mary, just first your reaction to the governor's comments. There's a lot of talk here in Washington, given the CDC's guidelines that we shouldn't be having gatherings of 50 people. Do you think it's responsible at this point in order to keep those primary elections continuing?
I think it makes the most sense. As the governor just stated in his comments, we've had approximately over 300,000 ballots cast as of last night. And to move the election or to reschedule the election would disenfranchise those voters that have already voted. More importantly, the CDC and the Illinois Department of Public Health have indicated that people should stay away from large gatherings, but they have not said everyone should be quarantined in their house. So going out to small gatherings or going to the grocery store are things that people are doing on an everyday basis, and going to the polling place is no different. We tend to have shorter lines at the polling places on election day in most precincts, and given the number of votes that have been cast early, I think that will even more so be the case tomorrow.
Yeah, we have seen the long polling lines in a lot of states that have gone so far, especially in certain neighborhoods and precincts. What do you expect overall turnout to be? And aren't you worried about disenfranchising people who can't go to the polls because they're worried about their own health and safety?
Well, as the governor pointed out, last week there was a major push to urge people to vote by mail, so they didn't have to go out of the house. But I think moving the election and risking disenfranchising the people that have already voted or may have voted and gone out of town there's a trade-off there. And I think that in Illinois, we have a lot of decentralized polling places, which I think make the line shorter. And I know that the election authorities are taking steps to protect voters in the polling places and try not to have them in such close proximity.
Mary, I also know that there often, of course, polling locations are included in nursing homes. I know that some steps have had to be taken in order to move those. Do you know, are there processes in place currently to take care of polling, of volunteers and other poll workers, so many of the people who are involved in our democratic process?
Well, first of all, the polling places were moved out of nursing homes last week. So one of the biggest challenges for election authorities has been to find new locations. Now, all of our public schools and the Catholic schools in Illinois have been closed. So it's my understanding the election authorities have had the opportunity to increase the number of polling places in those locations. And and in terms of efforts to protect volunteers and protect workers, the election authorities have made sure that the workers have gloves, that there's hand sanitizer. When I went on Friday to vote, there were hand sanitizers at every station in the process in terms of getting, allowing people to sanitize their hands.
And Mary, last question for you. We saw in Ohio they were reporting a shortage of poll workers for precisely this reason. As we know, it's often elderly, retired people who are staffing these polling stations who are doing their democratic duty there. Have you seen a similar challenge in Illinois with volunteers dropping out over concerns of their health?
Absolutely. That is the biggest crisis in terms of the election right now is we need election judges. So if anyone's watching this broadcast and they're not in that vulnerable age group, go to your county clerk's website, call your county clerk and volunteer to be an election judge. It's critical that we have election judges tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mary, thank you so much.
Mary.
So great to have you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, Team Rising discusses last night's debate performances and what it means for the candidates going forward.